Right, before we get started, we need to clean up these teeth a little bit. There are some air bubbles on them and things like that. You'll find them in the cracks of your teeth. So you just take a pointed tool and you just kind of like pop it off. And you just want to kind of clean it up. We don't need really anything on the inside, but we do need it around the edges of the gum lines. So you want to clean that up. And just kind of rub it along it. Since I've used hydrocal plaster, it actually makes it easier to clean up teeth. And be real careful not to scrape your gums. If you need to, you can actually take a scalpel tool and smooth down some bumps too. Alright, so we are ready to start sculpting. Today we're going to teach you how to make zombie teeth with dental acrylic. But first we need to sculpt our teeth. So we have our teeth mold that we made in another video. This is NSP clay. It's what I'm comfortable with sculpting. Some people like waxes or other clays. This is what I like. Vaseline, naphtha for smoothing it out. Vaseline will be for sealing it and also for smoothing a little bit. And I have my assorted sculpting tools and things. So now we're going to begin. Before I do anything with the teeth, I like to put a nice coating of Vaseline all over the entire teeth. I just find that when I'm working with clay or anything, it just helps with cleanup. We're going to make a full set of zombie teeth, which means it's going to be the front 6, which is pretty much what is exposed when you talk, and some people it's more, but in general that's what most people will have, is about the front 6 teeth. You can even make them a little bit longer if you want. It's up to your choice. We're only going to be sculpting mainly on the front. We're not going to put a whole lot underneath here. We're going to be just doing mostly this whole front. So to start off, I like to do little teardrops of basic teeth, and I do the amount that I'm going to be putting on the teeth. So I first of all start with a basic front tooth. So there's going to be 2 front teeth and then all the little teeth that go along with it. So, and they're kind of fat, which is okay because we're going to sculpt them down. So there you have right here now are the 2 front teeth. And now I'm going to do the next teeth, which are the teeth and then the canines after that, and maybe the next teeth is what I'll do. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teeth in front. That's probably what I like to do today. And like I say, right now this is just rough. We're just roughing it, and we'll make these smaller as we go, as I start putting them on. Just like that. So now we have our little teardrops teeth. Now we're going to apply them. So first of all, we've already coated our teeth with Vaseline, and now we're going to stick them on our teeth. And we're going to put, it's a little high, but that's okay. As you can see, I put it above the teeth a little bit, and it goes a little bit lower than what my gums are going to be. So that is your first tooth. And as you put them on, you can adjust them. We'll be cutting these down a lot. These are just a rough out teeth. All right? And I'm making sure that I'm trying to get them as center as I can. I'm looking at my teeth in the front here, and I'm trying to make them as center as I can. And after I put 2 on, I'm going to take my sculpting tool and I'm going to start knocking them down, just so that they will look more like the teeth. And I'm going to put a ball of clay right here so that I can clean up my tool. And I'm taking these right down to the gums, just like this. And they're still a little bit lower than my gum line. And if they're a little too long, you can always take your fine tip sculpting tool and knock them down a little bit. Thin them out. Okay? We're just trying to keep them kind of in line with your teeth. We don't want them looking huge in your mouth. We want them to look like natural, that they fit your mouth. Okay? So here we go. So now I got my 2 front teeth. Now I'm going to work on the side teeth. What I like to do is, when I'm sculpting, I like to have these teeth start to blend into my back teeth. So the next one is a little shorter, and the next one will be even shorter. And the same thing on this side. Next one will be a little shorter and shorter until they blend into my teeth. And don't be afraid to push them on those teeth hard. And then in the back, if you want to, if they're coming off easy, just smear them on the back of the teeth. And then add your next one. And I'm pinching it off because it's a little too long, because I'm starting to blend into my teeth. Now let's go to this side. This one is a little long, so I'm going to trim it back a little bit. And there are many different ways of sculpting. I'm just showing you what I do. And then one more right there. Okay, so what I have now is my teeth. I've pressed them onto the back, and I've got the front basically set up. So those are my basic teeth. I know they look a little high, but like I said, we're going to take our tool and we're going to trim them out so they look more natural. And now I'm going to start cutting in the teeth. So I'm looking at where my front tooth is here, and I'm just going to I'm just taking a wedge out, just like that. And then the next tooth, just taking a wedge out, just like that, and just keep going. There we go. So I got those done. Now I'm going to start blending them all into my gums. So I take my sculpting tool and I'm just blending the whole bottoms into the gums. And like I say, they overlap my teeth onto the gums. And there's a reason for that, and I'll show you as we go. I'm going to go right back through and get my wedge back in, going all the way to the gums. Some people may want to put a huge strip of clay across the front and then just do this, but I like to do the single teeth because then it kind of gives me a setup for it. And now I'm doing the back, just so that I can keep the teeth continuing. Now that we have our teeth laid out, we're going to start sculpting them. What I like to do is, I want to make some of these a little crooked. So I'm just going to bend one out and push one in, like that, just so they look a little irregular. I'm going to take my sculpting tool now, and I'm just going to start making them more of a nice tooth kind of smooth shape. Because we're going to damage these teeth later. Right now, we're just making them look as anatomically correct as we can. And we know this tooth and this tooth are canines. So we want to make those look canine. And this more is a molar. So we want to make this one and this one look more molar. So what we need to do is we need to point this one more. That's what we do with when we wedge it. We're going to kind of turn it more into a point so it looks more like a canine tooth. And I'm going to do the same to this one. Remember to take care of the back too, not just the front. So when you open your mouth up, it doesn't look like there's a set of unnatural teeth behind them. And like I say, these are a little bit crooked, which what I want is I want it to be a little more natural looking. Now I'm going to take, and I'm just going to thin them out a little bit so they look more like teeth if you see the top of them, so they're not flat. Now I'm back to redefining the teeth again. So I want to go through with my sharp tool and I want to start cutting them back in again. Okay, so now my teeth are back to being separated. Now I'm going to start tweaking them, making them look more like teeth. I have another set here to look at. And we see that these teeth are very square on mine, and then these are a little bit smaller, a little bit more rounded on top, but smaller, and then the canines stick out a little bit. Those are my teeth. So when you're doing the teeth, you want to think about that too, is how you want those teeth to look. So I know that these are my front teeth, and then this one can be a little bit smaller. So I got my little sculpting tool, and I'm going to start bringing it down now. I'm going to start sculpting it down a little bit smaller. And because I make them taller than these teeth, I can actually make this little separation here so they look a little more natural, like their teeth. They're not sitting in front of my teeth. So I'll take my sculpting tool now and I'm just going to knock these down a little bit more and fine tune them. And here's my canine. So I want to make sure that that looks different than this tooth. This is my canine. And this is a molar. Because I trimmed them down, they're a little fat. So I'm just going to pinch them. Make them a little bit thinner on top. Like that. Then I flatten the molar back here. So it blends, now it blends into my teeth. And I can even make these a little bit shorter if I want. Just all you're doing is you're just kind of playing with them, cleaning them up as you go. I squished them, so now they're a little fat, so I gotta take them back down. Keep them separate still. So as I sculpt, I keep cleaning them up. Your molar, you can actually now go ahead and make your little notches. You know how molars have those extra bumps right here? I'm just doing that to this one. Just like that. And I'm almost ready to go ahead and put some naphtha on this to smooth them out even more. So now I'm going to clean up the back a little bit. Just run them down so there's nothing hanging over the edge. Now they're just tad taller than mine. I bet you not even 1/8 of an inch taller than my other teeth. But yeah, they're not much taller. So I've taken them down quite a bit. So when I open my mouth, you don't see another set of teeth under here. They go right to my teeth, really close. Okay, they're separated out pretty good now, and they're pretty level and even. I'm going to paint naphtha on these now so that they'll smooth out and get rid of a lot of my sculpting lines. So I've used naphtha with a kind of a rough bristle brush, and I broke down all of my sculpting marks and everything and made it pretty smooth. Now I'm going to go back with a softer brush and smooth those teeth out just a little bit more. Don't forget to clean the back up. So now what we need to do is we need to add some texture to these teeth. Teeth aren't always perfect. I mean, even if I look at my teeth, I see that there's little indentations, you know, around it. Not so much on my teeth as some people's teeth, but I just want you to know that since we're making zombie teeth, they don't need to be clean teeth like this. They need to have some kind of contusions and indentations and stuff. So I just take a sculpting tool, and actually I'll even chip and run the chips down a little. Just randomly do some lines in them, and then we're going to take naphtha and we're going to smooth those lines out. Because remember, these teeth are zombie teeth. They're not going to be very clean. They bite everything, so you can even make them chipped if you want. If you wanted to make a tooth missing, you could have taken the one tooth out and make a little crevice mark and then just filled that in with gums. So now I have some lines in my teeth. I'm also going to take and kind of chip away some of the tips of the teeth right here. I'm going to tip some of these chips away just so they don't look so clean and straight and even on the tops, because like we say, we know zombies bite everything. And then I'll go through with my naphtha again and take more off. And I'm also redefining those teeth separation areas. And now I'll take my soft brush and more naphtha, and I'm going to wipe over these teeth again. And you can do this several times, you know, just to make your teeth as weathered as you want. We're going to weather them anyways with paint, but right now I am just doing all of the physical damage to them. And where there is damage, you can actually take your brush and add a little stipple to it on the tops so that it just looks like it's freshly damaged. That just adds a little bit of a fine chipping and cracking to the tips. So remember, when you sculpt, you're actually putting layers of texture on the teeth. So now I've noticed that a lot of my lines are pretty much gone because I've been painting, so I'm going to add some more lines in the teeth again. And then I'll go over with my soft brush and knock them down just a little bit. Now, like I said, we're not worried about the gum line yet. What we're going to do is we're going to cast this in acrylic, and then we're going to take the acrylic teeth and we're going to build the gums up on that. So right now we are just making the teeth. We're not worrying about the gums yet. Okay, I'm pretty happy with those teeth. They look really good. Now I'm going to cast this in alginate so that I can make a dental acrylic of this.